If you knew the one you love was destined to die, would you fight fate or surrender to it? That haunting question lies at the heart of Head Over Heels, the latest Korean drama quietly sweeping across Asia. Far from being a typical high school love story or a cliché tale of destiny, this series fuses shamanic folklore, supernatural visions of death, and the chaos of youth into a compelling narrative about choice, resistance, and love. At a time when K-dramas are struggling to reinvent themselves in an oversaturated market, Head Over Heels offers more than entertainment. It's a subtle cultural statement, a daring fusion of the mystical and the modern, and an emotional answer from Korea's Gen Z to the age-old question of fate. 1. When shamans aren't just folklore anymore. At the core of the story is Park Seong-A, played by Choo Yi-hyun, a top student by day and the mysterious, masked shaman fairy Chinji by night. But this duality isn't just for dramatic effect, it's a metaphor for the tension between modern life and spiritual heritage, logic and belief, individuality and inherited responsibility. The image of the Madang, shaman, usually associated with ancient rituals and traditional ceremonies, is reimagined in Seong-A as a symbol of modern female agency, a young woman burdened with the knowledge of death, yet still choosing to love and live. She doesn't fear her powers, she fears losing herself while trying to fight destiny. There were moments while reading the script when I stopped seeing Seong-A as a character, and started to feel like I was her, Yi-hyun revealed in an India Today interview. That deep empathy manifests on screen, resulting in a performance that is emotionally raw and psychologically complex. 2. Love Under the Shadow of Death, a dialogue with destiny. Beside Seong-A is Gyeon-woo, Choo, a quiet transfer student trailed by the shadow of a mysterious death. Without the usual tropes of tragic backstories or bad boy personas, Gyeon-woo is refreshingly introspective. His calm demeanor makes the looming tragedy even more poignant. When Seong-A foresees his death in a prophetic vision, the two are faced with a choice: surrender to fate or challenge it. The show then unravels into a psychological and emotional maze, where love becomes an act of rebellion. Even if I knew something bad was coming, I wouldn't want to know. Believing in fate is lighter than trying to carry the burden of control, says Yi-hyun. Young-woo echoes the sentiment, knowing the future would feel like a tremendous responsibility. Instead of framing the narrative as a conflict between fate and free will, the series explores the gray zone in between, a world where people can still choose to love despite knowing how the story ends. In Head Over Heels, love isn't salvation. It's a philosophical act, a choice to embrace vulnerability, even when the outcome is loss. 3. Gen Z Korea, living between belief and modernity. It's no accident that the series anchors itself in the imagery of shamanism, one of Korea's oldest and most spiritual traditions. In a country rapidly modernizing, where science and technology dominate, ancient beliefs often get sidelined. Yet, they continue to simmer beneath the surface. According to the 2023 report by the Korean Folk Culture Institute, nearly 35% of young Koreans surveyed had participated in shamanistic or spiritual rituals such as fortune-telling or good luck ceremonies, a rise compared to 5 years prior. It's a clear sign that, amid academic pressure, job insecurity, and global chaos, many young people are turning back to mysticism for comfort. Head Over Heels taps into that cultural undercurrent. It's more than a love story, it's a quiet confession, that even the most modern generation still wants to believe in something beyond reason. 4. The Silent Rebellion of Youth. Interestingly, the series doesn't portray teenage rebellion through loud arguments or breaking societal rules. Instead, its protagonists rebel by choosing to love, by hoping, even when the future is bleak. Gyeon-woo dreams of skydiving. Seong-A simply wants to laugh a lot on a good luck day. These small desires are declarations of autonomy, youthful defiance in its purest form, not in seeking to change the world, but in claiming joy within it. 5. Korean dramas and the dream of global resonance. Head Over Heels is not just resonating in Korea. It's gaining unexpected traction in India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and even parts of Latin America, markets previously considered hard to penetrate for genre-blending, folklore-based content. I think the shaman elements will really intrigue Indian audiences, said Young-woo. If I ever get the chance, I'd love to visit. Yi-hyun adds, "If there's an opportunity to work on an Indian film, I'd gladly accept it." This reflects a border shift in the Hallyu wave, moving beyond exporting pop culture, to integrating deeply Korean themes, like shamanism, into universally relatable storytelling, thereby creating multidimensional cultural bridges. Conclusion. Head Over Heels is a refreshing reminder of what K-dramas can achieve when they dare to ask uncomfortable questions. It doesn't rely on CGI spectacles or A-list star power. Its strength lies in its haunting simplicity: a shaman girl, a doomed boy, and a love that dares to exist in the shadow of death. In a world where death is taboo, love is formulaic, and destiny is fixed, this drama whispers a quiet, rebellious truth: we know the ending might be sad. But we choose to love, we choose to live, because that is how we take back our story. In a K-drama landscape teeming with clichés and recycled tropes, Head Over Heels has emerged as a quiet revolution. A story where ancient Korean shamanism meets high school romance, and where love is both destiny and defiance, the series has taken Asia by storm. But perhaps its most surprising fan base? India. In an exclusive interview with India Today, lead actors Gyeon-woo and Yi-hyun open up about their mysterious, emotionally charged characters, their personal philosophies on fate, and why they're increasingly drawn to their Indian audience, a connection they didn't expect, but now deeply cherish. Not your average K-drama. At first glance, Head Over Heels might sound like another teen romance. But what sets it apart is its bold premise. Park Seong-A, Cho Yi-hyun, a masked shaman known as Fairy Chunji, foresees the death of a classmate, the gentle, soft-spoken Bae Gyeon-woo, Choo, and fights fate to save him. The blend of modern school life with Korea's centuries-old shamanic tradition isn't just a narrative twist, it's a statement. "I didn't just play Seong-A," Cho Yi-hyun shares. "As filming progressed, I became her." She carries emotional weight, spiritual responsibility, and a teenage vulnerability that felt overwhelmingly real. Young-woo's approach to Gyeon-woo was more instinctive. "When I started making decisions in character without overthinking, I knew I truly embodied him. He's quiet, but layered. There's so much going on beneath the surface, a kind of sadness that speaks louder than any line. Love, loss, and the illusion of control. One of the most powerful themes in Head Over Heels is fate. Can it be changed, or is it something we simply learn to live with?" Yi-hyun's view is quietly resolute: "Even if I could see the future, I wouldn't want to. Some things are meant to happen. Trying to control everything would only bring more fear." Young-woo agrees, carrying the burden of knowing someone's fate. It's too much. Love, in this story, isn't about saving someone. It's about standing beside them even when you know you can't change what's coming. This mature take on love, where emotional honesty is valued over fantasy, resonates deeply with audiences who are tired of superficial romances. The series doesn't promise a fairy tale ending, but something more honest: connection in the face of uncertainty.